Keen to pursue this newfound ideology, Majid left home at 16 to join a party cell in London.
I basically cut all my contact with the girls that I was in touch with. I deliberately attended a college that had a large Muslim population for the specific purpose of propagandizing, and that's why I chose that college in East Ham.
At Newham College, Majid was elected president of the Students' Union, and he and his party colleagues set about transforming the campus.
We sort of radicalized the atmosphere in that college. We polarized the relationships between the Muslims and the non-Muslims. And due to that polarization and the way in which we radicalized the youth in the college, I think this sort of assertive Muslim identity was adopted by people who were essentially in the gang culture beforehand anyway.
The situation soon grew volatile and led to the murder of a student, Ayotunde Ubanubi, by a Muslim non-student based with the Hizb ut-Tahrir activists on campus.
I'm not responsible for the murder, but I do feel responsible for creating an atmosphere where such a thing could sort of develop or flourish, such an attitude.
Expelled from Newham College, Majid returned home to finish his A-levels, and in 1997 was accepted at the School of Oriental and African Studies back in London. He recruited for Hizb ut-Tahrir on campus and became a speaker for the party.
There are many things that I propagated to young people that I regret thoroughly. That includes telling them that they're not British, but they're Muslim first, that they should revile being British, and they should speak out against everything British. And I think, to be honest, to be fair to the party, they have moved on slightly from saying that. They used to say that in the 90s. When I was in HT, I said that suicide bombings in Israel were justified. And to my knowledge, that is still HT's stance. I said to people during the 90s that the state of Israel should be abolished. I taught participation in a democratic system was haram. Not just haram, but kufr. Kufr means akin to something which is absolutely un-Islamic.
There has been much debate about how extreme Hizb ut-Tahrir is. Publicly, the party now focuses on condemning dictatorships and tyrannical regimes in the Muslim world, but Majid Nawaz says that's misleading.
The party is religiously opposed to all regimes in the Muslim world, whether they are democratic or dictatorships. And that's a point which isn't really coming across at the moment in their media profiles. That is that they say that they're opposed to dictatorships, but actually they're opposed to all regimes, even Turkey, which is a representative government elected through direct elections. They're opposed to these regimes because these regimes don't implement on a state level their Islamist interpretation of Islam. So therefore Hizb ut-Tahrir encourages the military in these regimes to overthrow them in a military coup, and it publicly advocates this. It then encourages in their place the establishment of a unitary, one Islamic state.
The establishment of the Khilafah, an Islamic state across the Muslim world under Sharia law, is the central aim of Hizb ut-Tahrir. Only last month they held a series of international conferences, the largest in Indonesia, to accelerate its establishment. Hizb ut-Tahrir publicly state that this will be achieved without resorting to violence and following an exclusively political method. But Majid Nawaz has told Newsnight that once that state is established, the party does advocate violence and violent expansion beyond the Muslim world.
They are prepared to, once they've established the state, to fight other countries and to kill people in the pursuit of unifying the state into one state. And what I'd like to emphasize is that such a policy is not agreed upon within Islamic theology. According to Hizb ut-Tahrir's literature, according to a book written by their second global leader, it's a state that they are prepared to kill millions of people to expand. Hizb ut-Tahrir privately and publicly condemn terrorism, but the point I'm making is that's not the danger I'm concerned about. The danger I'm concerned about is creating a mentality, a psyche, that can allow a state, and it deems it acceptable for a state en masse to kill people in the cause of an ideology. They've laid down the foundations for a theory that can then be used by jihadists and developed upon by jihadists. And that's where there's a danger.
Such an admission of the extreme nature of what Hizb ut-Tahrir believes has until now not been confirmed due to the closed nature of the party. Members are invited to join, but only after years of private study circles. They must swear an oath to abide by the adopted ideas of the party, known as adoption. Voicing dissent is forbidden, not only in public, but internally before other party members.
Being a member of the party was akin to a cultish experience, if you like. And that's because when you have to toe the party line by abiding by their adoption, whether you agree or disagree, it leads to a situation where you're trying to speak to people, but you're not really concerned or interested in what they have to say because you've got your adoption. You know what you have to believe in, you know what you have to propagate, and that's got to be pushed at all costs. The process of attending study circles once a week for 2 hours, it's a process of indoctrination which merges the idea of the religion on the one hand and the politics on the other, and it makes the religion the same as the politics. So if you, psychologically, the member feels that by disagreeing with the politics on a certain matter, he's suddenly become an enemy of the religion.
In 1999, fully committed to the cause and rising up the ranks of the organization, Majid Nawaz received a personal request from Hizb ut-Tahrir's then global leader.
In 1999, Pakistan became a nuclear power. And it was deemed so important by the second global leader of the party, Sheikh Abdul Qadim Zalloum, that the party begins to operate and establish a strong foothold in Pakistan for the sake of the future state, because now you have a nuclear power there. So a direct request came from the party global leader, generally to members in positions of responsibility, but specifically to me as well, to go to Pakistan. So in 1999, I went to Pakistan to initiate Hizb ut-Tahrir in Pakistan